Hello children, welcome back to your 5th standard mathematics digital class. We are doing lesson number 6, angles. In the previous classes we had seen how to measure an angle and also how to draw an angle using the protractor. Today let us move on to types of angles. Right angle. Angles of measure 90 degree are called right angles. These are a few examples of right angles. If the angle between the two rays is 90 degrees, it is called as a right angle. Acute angle. An angle which measures less than a right angle or less than 90 degree is called an acute angle. These are real-life examples of acute angles. The tongs, scissors, a piece of pizza are all examples of acute angles. Obtuse angle. An angle which measures more than a right angle is called an obtuse angle. Here in the picture you can see various obtuse angles. You can do an activity to show the types of angles as shown in the picture. To show right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle and straight angle. Here I have used earbuds to show the different types of angles. You can use matchsticks also, but you have to be very careful while using matchsticks. Now let's try the activity given on page number 39 of your textbook. That is making a right angle by folding. Now for this, take a rectangular piece of paper like this and make a fold like this. Okay, I'll show you once again. First take a rectangular piece of paper, then make a fold in this manner. Okay, now make another fold in such a way that these two edges they meet. So this is how it will look. Now unfold the paper. You will find two lines like this. You can trace these lines with pencil. You can trace the lines with pencil and then let us measure the angle and see how much it is. You can see that the angles between these lines will be a right angle or it is 90 degree. Please try this at home. The next topic is parallel lines. Parallel lines can be defined as two lines in the same plane that are at equal distance from each other and never meet. For example, these two lines given over here. They can be extended in both the directions, but these two lines will never meet how much ever you extend them. Parallel lines do not intersect. That is, they do not cut each other, no matter how far they are extended on either side. These are some day-to-day examples of parallel lines. The railway line is an example of parallel lines. These lines will never meet. If they meet, the trains won't be running properly. Same way, the electric lines, they also never meet. They run parallel to each other. The escalator, you can think of the steps of the ladder, the horizontal steps of the ladder and also the vertical legs of the ladder. Those are also examples of parallel lines. Now, here in this picture, you can see the road that is parallel to each other. Next is perpendicular lines. When two lines form an angle of 90 degree with each other, they are said to be perpendicular to each other. Now, if you take these two lines, this is line number 1 and line number 2. If the angle between them is 90 degree, then these two lines are said to be perpendicular. Now this symbol over here, the square symbol over here, is used to show that the two lines are perpendicular to each other. Now these are some examples of perpendicular lines. Say for example, this is a crossroad, or the roads are intersecting at right angles. The cross is an example of perpendicular lines. In this figure, if you see, the pole is perpendicular to the ground. So this is also an example of perpendicular lines. Now in this kite, the central lines are perpendicular to each other. So these are all common examples of perpendicular lines. Now look at this picture. This is the picture of a page of your notebook. The horizontal lines on the paper are parallel to each other. All these lines are parallel to each other. If they were not parallel, then while you were writing, the letters or the sentences will cross each other. So all these lines are parallel to each other. But if you take the margin, the vertical margin, it is perpendicular to each of these horizontal lines. That is the vertical margin line on the side. It will form a right angle with all these parallel lines. That is, the vertical margin is perpendicular to the horizontal lines.
Now let's do an activity to show parallel lines. Take a rectangular piece of paper like this. Fold it in a way that one edge folds exactly on the opposite edge. Let us fold it. Let us fold it in half. You can make one more fold in the same way. You can make one more fold if you want more number of lines. The more number of folds you make, the more number of lines you will have. Then unfold the paper. Unfold the paper and trace the lines made by the folds with pencil. You will see that the lines traced with pencil are parallel to each other. Please try this at home.
Now let's solve problem set 27. It's a very simple exercise. The first question is, give two examples of parallel lines you can see in your environment. You have to give examples of parallel lines that you see around you. We need two examples. First one, opposite edges of a ruler. The ruler that you use, the opposite edges of the ruler, they are parallel to each other. You have to write the second example. Think of the examples that we discussed in the video and write the example. The second question, give two examples of perpendicular lines that you can see in your environment. One example is the light pole, the electric pole that you see on the road. The light pole and the road, they are perpendicular to each other. You can write the second example. Now let's move on to the third question. It is, look at the pictures given below. Decide whether the lines given in each picture are parallel or perpendicular to each other and write your answer in the box. The first two are already solved for you. You have to solve the remaining questions. With this, we come to the end of the lesson. Please solve all the exercises once again. Thank you and have a nice day.